with it. Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, hat pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. Just like a seed in a garden, you will grow to be tall, staring out over miles of land without it, but wanting to build up walls. Lift me up in your branches, we can watch the sunrise. Just a couple of bruised up souls that believe that it was worth one more try. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart and spend less time in your head. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
Hello everyone. Right. Well, first of all, I didn't turn the stream on. What a lemon. Secondly, well, some of you probably don't know that I'm actually quite into VR, and I have been for quite some time, and finally got one of these to replace my Quest 2, which is pretty awesome. This only arrived yesterday, so I've not really done much with it, and I'm not going to be talking about it here, but I thought you might quite like to see that. Anyway, take that off now. Turn that off. So I've got a few bits, just minor little things to go through, nothing really serious, and Q&A. So I hope you've all got your questions ready. And probably going to keep this very. I'm a bit knackered today. Been a bit of a day. So let's barrel straight into it. Right, I'm assuming everyone can hear me okay. The audio seems to be going through okay. Right, first things first. China. I'm going to China on Saturday. So I'm going to go to China for a full week for next week. And so I'm out there to finalise, get everything ready for production, which is obviously good news. And so that's really what I'll be doing. So there'll be no stream next week, hence I'm making sure I do one today. And there'll be I'll put some messages up when I'm out there, and then I'll do a recap when I come back. I'll do a stream probably the following Monday, just to update you about what's happened. But it's to, although we've almost finalised everything, it's just to, a couple of little things it's better to do on the ground. Some production's already started. Some parts have already started. These have already started to be made. And so we're getting on with that. So that's why I'm going out there. So obviously good news. People keep asking me, well, they don't actually, to be fair. But, you know, some people do ask me, when are you going to ship? Well, when they're made, I suppose. But it's they're coming on really well. So let's go through a couple of things. So China next week, obviously quite important. Arcuda, I've already told you this, but I had a really good chat with Steve last week. And as you're probably aware, this is I was going to send him just a really old rough one, but I changed my mind. So no, let him see the product. And this is a fully working system, as you can see. So the idea being that I send it to them. They know what they're up against. They've got to do better. And I'm giving them a list of objectives, which I think that they need to do. And I think it's better that way. Plus, they're interested in distributing it out there, which is great. So there's always that. So that's going to go probably tomorrow or Wednesday. I've got some outstanding orders I've got to ship, and they're all packed up. About going to ship them out tomorrow. So if you're one of my normal case customers and you wonder where it is, yeah, it's, you know, I always quote 2 weeks delivery. So I think there's a few there have got gone into 3 weeks. But they're all going out tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's good. And that will go off to Australia. Keyboard. Right, so this is more of an Amiga thing. People obviously know I'm a bit of an Amiga nut. So I have been, for a long time, to go in my cases, wanted to do a proper keyboard. I have done keyboards, and I've got one where you can't see it, but but basically they were an inexpensive mechanical keyboard, but with Amiga style caps. Let's call them style caps because obviously it's laid out in the usual PC layout, but with Amiga looking keys, you know, the printing on the keys. And so I've done them, but I really wanted to do something, you know, proper, because I'd like to replace this, which is a Cherry. That keyboard's pretty cool. So, well, obviously we can't just make any other thing, but I met through Yambita, one of his videos. I got in touch with a guy called Graham, and he makes this, which transpires into one of these. Now, again, this is the same kind of layout. The only difference is, I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's got a 5-way DIN. So this will plug into a big box Amiga. With adapters, you might be able to plug it into an Amiga 500. But, you know, with my cases, we should be able to do something with it. Now, he's done a lot of work on there, and we've discussed about licensing, use of his designs. And so one of the things I'm going to do in China is I'm going to be visiting the manufacturer out there. Now, not to make this, but to redesign his design into something with, well, ideally to make a more or less a clone Amiga keyboard that will plug into an Amiga, look correct. We've got to do plastics and so on. So you're the usual kind of stuff. But to make a board that will plug into Amiga, which is not as simple as it sounds. This one obviously would need complete relay now. Appy's probably sitting again, oh God. But so you know, if he wants to, if not, I think Graham might help me. But there's no rush on this, but I'm only going to go out there. I'm going to meet the company, because they specialise in mechanical keyboard, manufacture mechanical keyboards with real Cherry switches. So, and we should be able to get a price reasonable, not cheap, because if anyone knows anything about Cherry keyboards, they're not cheap. So, but they're not. I'm hopefully going to get a reasonable price. My target's like under £150, that kind of thing. But then that'll be a replica Amiga keyboard, which will work on any Amiga, and it'll work on. The idea is to make sure it's PS2 compliant, so you can plug it into a Vampire, anything that needs PS2 compliance. That's my goal, to make it work on anything like that, any Amiga, and also to be able to work with USB, so you can plug it into anything with a USB port. That's the keyboard. Amiga 3K. Here we go. Now see if you can spot something different. No one actually noticed from the last stream I did, but we were having a bit of a problem. Well, Appy's now got to the bottom of it because he's not there anymore. Where we have vertical lines of vertical, like a jail bars from the Commodore. They were not subtle, but they were not that. They were there. But we've fixed it. It looks great. And also, if you look closely, and you'll notice that message is missing at the bottom. We seem to have got rid of the bounce on the. This is the latest version of the board in the monitor, so the bounce seems to be gone now. So, pleased with that. You won't notice actually from this video, but we've got an issue where it's slightly to the right, which you've got to get the firmware sorted out in the monitor, so it squares up bangs it in the middle of the display. So that's one of the reasons going out there for some firmware changes, that kind of thing. But you can see it's working really nice. Now whether it's going to become a product, because the chips we based it on are going end of line anyway, and I was going to make a very small run, but I don't know. I mean, it was always meant to be like a marketing thing, and hopefully that the Minimig company, and Ranko said he will. So Ranko's going to hopefully do what I'm call this the Amiga 3K, because if you've got a Pi Storm, if you haven't got a Pi, it's like an A500 plus, and it's actually really nice. It's like an original speed, with the usual ECS graphics. And if you put PyStorm on it, your performance is stratospheric, and RTG and everything, and we're tweaking the wheels of Wi-Fi on PyStorm, so fingers crossed. And so that's a good thing from my point of view. Now, again, will we make a batch of these? Potentially. The supply we've got has only got 100 chips in stock. I have got about 40 people on the waiting list who've shown interest in actually getting one. But my aim was to make this affordable card that plugs into the monitor. But you are at the mercy of chips and the cost of the FPGAs and the memory and that kind of thing. So whether we'll make one, I'm not 100% sure. On the left of that, you can see I've got a PyStorm in there. Something interesting you might be interested to know. We had a few with PyStorm, Pi 5, sorry. We had a fun thing with the Pi 5. Well, for one thing, it's the PD power supply. We're not a PD power supply, but we had a bit of an interesting thing which we've resolved. It's to do with the voltage. It wasn't, when it put it, it was dragging the thing down. That's now sorted. So that's good. So Pi 5, brilliant. Okay. But again, it's not a PD power supply. So if you plug in anything into the Pi, you only got 600 milliamps. But then if you plug into the monitor in the back on one of the power lines, you got 5 amps. So there's no problem there. What else? So we'll have to see. Ranko said he's going to be doing a board for us because he's already got an AGA version of the Minimig on the way. So he said he will do one that'll plug in, which would be nice. And if not, then it may be that Appy then gets sent off. But we'll see. But yeah, so what else is there? That's it really. China's the big thing, and getting production going. So again, questions. I've managed to talk for 15 minutes about next to nothing, which I could have said going to China. Oh, CUDA was good. Minimig, Right, let's go through your questions. Hello. App is in the house. Cheers, good evening. Question, what's the meaning of life? God help us. It's a bit early in the day for that. I'm not gonna say 42. Oh, I did. Well, okay. Alfie, my kids. There you go. That's what it's all about. And all of this is all about my kids. Oh, if you're wondering why I haven't got the GS on, the power supply is making the whistling noise. I've ordered a new replacement power supply for the GS, so she's turned off, and I've left her off just recently, last few days. I don't want the power supply to go pop. I spoke to I think it's Frank at Reactive Micros in America, and I said to him about it, and he said, yeah, whistling means it's possibly on its way. So, and it's quite loud, so I've decided to leave that off and wait for the new power supply, as I'm sure Daniel, I don't think Daniel's here, but if Daniel's listening to this, he'll be pleased to hear that. I also bought one of these little things, which is 300k floppy disk emulator. Not I won't do 800k, but it's like for an Apple II. The first time I plugged it in, it blew up. Now I'm sure I plugged it in correct, but I'll benefit a doubt. But anyway, the guy who made it was fantastic. I just sent it back to him. He fixed it, tested it, and then I sent him some pictures. Is this plugged in correct? Right. And he emailed me back, and he said it looked alright. So I'll be doing some stuff with that. Although I don't really need it, to be fair, because of now that thing is so well set up, as you'll see in the video. So that's the meaning of life. Can't wait for my office overhaul is currently waiting on them. I get to part with many screens. Question, is the carry bag big enough to hold all the pods, cables? Yeah, massive. Hang on. There you go. I mean, it's massive. The monitor goes inside. The monitor goes inside there, fills that. And then you've got this pocket here, which you can put a keyboard in and cables. And these big pouches on each side, which put power supplies, mice, joysticks, anything you like. Anything to do with that computer, you should be able to just carry that. Because I use one, I actually need a few more. Because when I go out, I take them with me. So yes, they are really good bags. They're not cheap. Oh, they're not expensive, but they're made by a company that make custom luggage for sports cars. Usually go in Bugattis and Ferraris and stuff like that. So, for those that haven't ordered from Stephen before, he's shipping his top notch. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, the packaging. You've probably seen pictures of the packaging. I don't won't be pleased because it's molded polystyrene. So. But it's cardboard box because we had to protect these monitors. So it's got like 40mm all the way around protection, and then that's inside a strong box, and then that box is inside another cardboard box for shipping. So we've gone away with although the main box is got graphics on it, it's black on brown. So we haven't gone mad on making the boxes look amazing, because with the cases, the boxes cost me like £15 each. But I made them look gorgeous, and now everybody loved them, except for some people were really annoyed because they are really big, and they said I can't throw it away because it looks so nice. Now I can say that because I didn't design it. Yeah, both our other boxes, but this one looks good. It's designed by Paul Kitchen. It does look really nice, but it's just black on brown. It's simple to keep the cost down because the money's going into the electronics. But yeah, so they're going to be really strong packaging. They're going to have to be as well. Oh, hang on, it's done that jumping thing again. Will your keyboards have USB or PS2? Both? Well, actually, that's not quite true. They'll be PS2 compatible. I don't know look, they're going to be Amiga compatible, PS2 compatible, and USB compatible. Now, the USB compatible might be the case of a PS2 going into an adapter for USB. But the key thing is the PS2 and the Amiga. but they will work. We'll make sure they work in USB. But again, this is all up in the air. This is not, this is while I'm out there, I'm spending a day with the company that make keyboards to see what's possible. But they, there we go. No jittering anymore. It's I see a lot, but yeah. Did you notice I put the bounce in there? I see a lot of bouncing. That Amiga board is certainly extra bouncy now. Yeah. Is it possible to install a floppy drive in the front where the USB connectors are for use of the mini Amiga? Nope. It's not big enough. It's really not big enough. And because behind it, you've got like a metal frame, there's not an awful lot of room there. So it's not for that kind of thing. The meaning of life is to give me life meaning. Okay. Will we have the opportunity to buy more pods before the orders ship? I'll repeat myself again on this. So basically, at some point, I've got to get credit cards back online again so you can pay the balance. Now, thank God a lot of people have paid by bank transfer. About 650 people have paid their balance by, because this project would have died it would have. But thankfully, a lot of people paid, and that's meant that the money's sitting there ready to manufacture now. It does mean the rest of the monitors, obviously, at some point I'll get credit cards put back online. I know some people need to do credit card, and I understand that totally. But the ones that have actually paid, I'm trying to work out a nice little thing bonus. So apart from that, they're going to get theirs first. Getting theirs first. And they'll get the first batch. But yeah, that's without that, we would have had a real problem. Right. What was the query? Yeah. Oh, ordering the pod. Sorry. So my point is that when you can pay by credit cards, you can modify your order. You can change. You can add bits if you want to swap the color. If you want to switch to a 19 or back to a 17, that kind of thing, or add bits, then yes. At no point will there be iMegas be part of this. Okay, that's going to have to be something completely separate. It's one of the problems. Although we've done it and we've built it and it works great and it's brilliant. I've got one. Appy's got one. We've got a couple of spares. It's not part of the shipment. Okay. I showed this monitor to one of my friends who's interested. Are you going to produce more after Kickstarter's finished? Yeah. I've got a waiting list of 600 people. So, obviously, yeah. I'm expecting to sell quite a lot of these. I'm keeping quiet about it. I mean, you guys see all this, right? But I've not done any PR, and I'm not doing any PR until we start shipping the backers cases, because I'm not doing like a lot. I'm not criticizing, but I'm not doing like a lot of the Kickstarters. They want to grab as many orders as possible, because I've got about 1,700 already ordered, and I've got 600 people on the waiting list. We just need to get them out. I want to get them out there in a good time. Well, it's a better time, best time as I can, and also seeing reactions and so on. And so we will be shipping, and I've been working on distribution. So we've got the European, we've got Michael in Germany going to do my European distribution because Brexit. We've got Arcuda want to do Australia and that way. They're really keen on that. So it's not just the fact of making the second advanced monitor. And I think I might have a company in America that will do distribution in America. So that's all to come. You'll hear about it as it happens. Will you be at Kickstart too? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, me and Appy and Rita will be in the house. Absolutely. This time, Appy's going to be there for the whole show. None of this, like last time, poor bloke. I paid for them to go on the coach. I don't know. I don't travel by coach, but we didn't realise that it was Pride March through London, and they didn't get there till like 3 or 4 o'clock on the first day. Missed the whole first day, and the second day they were in the morning. So this time I'm taking them up with myself. They're going to be there the whole weekend and have a good time. So if you want to come up and meet Happy, maybe buy him beer. Save me. If you want to come buy him a beer, then by all means. I could stop making a laptop. I could stop taking a laptop when we travelling and just take the Amiga in my screen. Yeah, I think you're better off taking a laptop because it's small. I'll tell you what though. Depends what you want to do, because I, as I said, I'm into VR a little bit, and I'm not into games. I'll disappear in the corner. So I bought one of these because it works. No, it works with that. Now I might do if anyone's interested, I might do a video about it, because I know most of you don't realise this, but if you go back about 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing 360 video cameras and some VR work, and I was experimenting with VR because I'm an original Oculus backer, Kickstarter backer. So I've had the original Oculus that shipped. I had the DK2, DK1, which is the original. I had DK2, and then we got the free CV1, which they got $1 billion, and I got a free headset, but I was over the moon, so that was fantastic. And then I bought the Quest. I didn't buy the Quest actually. Funnily enough, I went to the Quest 2. And the Quest 2, actually, to be fair, because I'm not a gamer, you probably know I'm not a gamer. So I got bored with it because I did a load of stuff with it. I mean, as I said, I made a 360 camera a number of years ago, and it would stream live to the headset from around the world, that kind of thing. I did all that, but I didn't have an Appy then, so I couldn't. I knew I had to have custom electronics, and I couldn't do it, so I couldn't go properly in, because otherwise I'd have probably bought out an Insta360, because if you go way back, you can see my little two-way back-to-back, way before the Instas came out, a long time ago. And that was live streaming and everything. In fact, if you go through my playlist, my VR, the very old one of me doing a live stream from here, 360, and you can still see it. But then after that, I kind of lost interest in it. And the Quest 2 went up here. We didn't get a loft, but it just never got used. So, but then what I will say, and I know a lot of people probably got the same story if they're not gamers. Apple Vision came out, and it really got me excited again, right? And I started watching all the videos. I go, I'll get it out. And I bought one of these. It's called it's a Bobo VR, right? And I never liked the straps for the Quests, and it was a horrible strap. But I bought myself a new facial interface, and I bought this Bobo VR. Fantastic, okay? Absolutely wonderful. But the only thing is, what I like is I want to use it for. So basically, like for example, I'm going to go to China. I take my laptop. My eyesight's not particularly brilliant, but I don't like wearing the glasses because it gives me a headache. So to have my little 14-inch laptop, I can put. Now I've got this now because I couldn't do it properly. It worked, but the pass-through is no good, and you couldn't see the keyboard. Whereas the pass-through on the Quest 3 is brilliant, and the lenses are fantastic as well. Whilst it's not up to Apple, don't believe people who say. Well, I haven't tried the Apple Vision, but go and buy the specs. It obviously it's not as good, but it's good enough. So I can put it on, I can have my head, and I can have my keyboard, mouse, I can have everything there, and I have these, big screens. So I can have a big remote desktop hooked into my laptop. I can have a messenger up here, so I chat to Appy, and I can have a browser open, and my music, and all that kind of stuff, and it just works, and it's actually really good. And I was a bit nervous about buying it because they're a bit expensive, but it's gonna help me when I'm out there and I'm working in a hotel room. I got a big screen, and because here I've got 3 big screens, and I'm used to big screens because it's good for my eyes. So yeah, that's a good thing. Right. Anyway, enough about my VR. Yeah, so basically you could take them on. It's a bit of a big bag. It's a bit like the old days, you know. Oh, here's my portable computer. Donk. Yeah. That company should consider making those bags for Amiga systems if they don't know it. No, as I said, the company that makes these bags, right, they make them for sports cars. You know, they're custom made, and they're very beautifully made. It's called. Oh, hang on. I think it's called Bag World. Hilarious name. I think it's Bag World UK or something online. There is a link on my Kickstarter. Go and have a look, and you can see what they make. They make some beautiful stuff. And of course, I turned up. I want it for a computer. All right. But no, they're really nice, strong bags. And whilst I think they're nearly £100 we charge you, £95, something like that. It is a good bag, and this thing's been everywhere. I can really vouch for it. So if you have bought one, actually, to be honest, they're a pain in the ass to ship because I've got to squish them down and put them in a box. Anyway, 82,000 boxes weren't exactly pretty either. Oh, hang on, I've jumped ahead here. The Amiga would be nice, but I can do without. Already have a real toy. Yeah, cool. So have I. Not sure if I'd want a Raspberry or Mister instead. See, that's the great thing. Amiga, Raspberry Pi, Mister. They all just run and they all sit in the back. So I think if you're not interested in like, oh, it must be really, really fast. I think probably the Mister's the best still, because you do get that authentic FPGA recreation of the chips. The Pi 5 is great, and it's a good little computer. Actually, to be fair, it makes a really good little Linux computer. It does actually make it a really useful computer as well, which is nice. And of course, it's set for the screen resolution beautifully. The Amiga is purely for Amiga fans. It's not for you. It's purely for Amiga fans, and it's that's what it's for. Are optical keyboard switches worth the extra cost? I'm not sure what you mean. Optical. What's an optical keyboard? Do you mean mechanical? If you mean mechanical switches, yes. Absolutely. I'll give an example. I mean, this is the keyboard. I don't know if you can see this. No, you're not gonna. No, it's. No, you can't see it. I've got a Corsair. And it's probably the one I use it as the example to what is a good. This is a Cherry. It's a small one of the small keyboards without the number pad, but it's got Cherry switches, and it's got it's the best keyboard. And I think the main reason is it's got a very solid back, so when you're typing on it, it's not flexing and creaking. Right, it's absolutely solid, and so the switches, it just works really well. That's my keyboard that I use for my big desktop here. The ones I did, which were clone switches, is a nice keyboard especially for the price. But it can't compete with this. This is just. I'm not one for the loud clicky keys. I like it. Well, these are Cherry. Are they reds? Reds, yeah. So they're kind of. I don't know if you can hear this. I don't really want to tap because what am I connected to? Hang on, that's it, right? It's a really nice keyboard, and so I'm trying to replicate that kind of feel on the new keyboards. Right. Any idea when credit card payments? Not yet. No. I mean, look, I can give you an estimate. So basically, once the manufacturing is complete and we start doing the assembly, getting them ready to put on a boat, then once on the boat, because if you don't know what the story is with the fact that credit cards went away, you need to go back. One of those the backstories and that. Look at that. So I don't want to go through that again. So I'm gonna, once we actually ship in, then there can't be any argument, because you're not waiting. Yes, it might be 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it's going to be, but everyone knows, and it will be shipping very soon. So that was the original issue. So it'll be once they're on a boat, and then but again, the people who pay by bank transfer will get theirs first. We're gonna have I think 1,000 come over, then another 1,000 come over, and then probably another 1,000, and possibly every couple of months another 1,000. That's the kind of plan. See how it goes. But later on we will. The credit cards will be online. So if I was going to say anytime May, June, coming online, hopefully they're all going to be on a boat in May. That's the kind of time scale. So a bit of a clue. But as I said, we're not. We're on the road. Where and when is Kickstart 2? Nottingham. So to change the monitor from my order from white to black, I need to remove the white and add a black. Is that the way? Yeah. It's, I mean, on the cases, I used to have a little switch the colour. Well, assume you haven't paid. If you've already paid, it's a bit more of a nightmare. So if you have already paid and you just want to change the colour, you're gonna have to contact me by email. Because then I've got to do it in the background, but you need to put a note on the order to say you want it, and then I'll switch it. Got your tickets booked? Good. I'm in the same stand again. Do you have any idea when we can add the SVDR? Again, once the credit cards come online, you want to be paying their balances. That'll be on there now. At the moment, it's showing as the SVDO as a separate little black box. Ignore that. You're not getting that. What you're getting is if you've ordered the Apis Scaler and you order the S-Video, that black box, you're going to get one of these instead, which sits on Apis Scaler, which means you also get the RF. Okay, if you didn't for some reason want Apis Scaler, which I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but if you didn't, then you will get that little black box. Many years ago I got to meet Lucky Palmer. Oh yeah, and I have had a little 30-minute interview and private demo of the Oculus prototype with him. Yeah, he's now in. He does defense. He makes weapons. So that's interesting. I'm sure he wouldn't describe it quite like that. 360 camera on a model plane with VR headset sounds like good fun. Yeah, that's already been done a long time ago. I had a guy bought one of my rigs, one of the back-to-back one, the little one, and he stuck it on and he just filmed footage. This is a long time ago. Nowadays, the Instas have got much bigger sensors, and the quality's gone up, obviously. But the quality we was getting was pretty damn good. But they were based on smart cameras. Right. Apple Vision looks cool in concept, but I don't even like smartwatches in practice. Having a screen in my face, if you either do or you don't. I agree with you. I'm not a massive fan of a screen in front of your face, and I'd prefer to have glasses. Not a pair of glasses would be easier. But for what you get from them, I think they're pretty good. I mean, but I don't play games, so so it's having a reason to actually use them. But for me, it's that using it as a productivity thing, which I didn't think with the Quest 2. I was trying to set it up to be productive so I could take it to China. I just couldn't get to, because it's got a black and white pass-through, but a really low res black and white pass-through, and I just couldn't get it to work properly, and I just couldn't. It just did. So I ended up buying the new one, and mainly for that reason, for the pass through and the faster processing, and it is actually a lot snappier. Chris Edwards has said he will be splitting Pi Amiga 4 into Intel and Pi variants, and he wants to get the Pi 5 working as well. So hopefully it'll be ready for the monitor. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Dan's here. What is your favourite original retro keyboard? Oh, God. I don't want to upset Daniel. Mate, we've been getting on so well, you know? This, let me get it in. This Amiga keyboard, the original 2000 keyboard, but with cherry switches. That's the best retro keyboard ever. It is. And it cost me nearly 200 quid. And that's what I'm trying to replicate. Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely fantastic. They only did them for a very short period of time. But they are, oh God, they're gorgeous. So fantastic. It's not an Apple keyboard, sorry. Thanks for answering. Oh, okay, Marco. Right, optical switches are right, like mechanical, but okay, right. I've never used one, so I don't know. I like mechanical. I don't like squishy. Well, I mean, look, I type with like kind of these, but they're okay. I know that's not what you're talking about. I like mechanical keyboards. I mean, I remember I used to use a Model M many years ago at college, and that's fantastic. Yeah, I used to work design weapons for the MOD. Now, for Steve, see, I brought him back from the making weapons business. Cherry's not even the best Amiga 2. That Cherry's not even the best Amiga. Seriously? What Amiga keyboard is better than that? And do not say a 3000, and do not say the 4000, because they're just membranes. That's the best. But you may correct me. The high-tech keyboards with the Space Invader switches were some kind of high-tech keyboards. Never heard of them. Well, they weren't. Oh yeah, ZX81. There you go. Some kind of ergonomic. I don't know. I have no idea what you mean. You might want to. I don't know. High-tech keyboards. If you mean the ones that came, if you're talking about the ones on the 4000, I've never used a 4000 keyboard that was that nice. I paid my bank transfer, so I assume I'll have to email to get the. Yeah, no. Okay, Raduga, right. Just wait till later on. Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody about this as soon as it's time. I'll tell everyone, and then if they want to make any changes or any additions, I just want everyone to do it at the end when all the information, the final information, I give everyone. I update the site and all the information, and then you know exactly what to get, because certain things have changed, like the S video card. If you've got that, you get in the new S video board with the RF. So there's going to be all that, and a lot of people have ordered it without Episcaler, which may now change their mind. So there's going to be a lot of information to share. The IBM Sprung keyboards. Yeah, I mean, look, the Model M keyboards, because I used to use one when I went to college a long time ago. College was stupid. I ended up having to teach them how to do coding, but I went for a coding course as well. It was all awful. But they had these really nice IBM 286s with these Model M keyboards. I think they were Model M, maybe Model F, but they were the keyboards were fantastic. And that's actually really nice. But no, I just happen to really like because they're fairly short travel, but keyboards are terrible. They're just personal choice, and plus it says Amiga on it, which I like. So, high-tech displaced the Cherry, but then got displaced by the membrane. The membrane ones are horrible. I don't remember the high-tech ones, so I'll take your word for it. Amiga Lab has a. Oh, okay. All right. Send me the video. Send me the link to the video, because he does great videos, Amiga Lab. I will be adding the S video as well now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, look, it's well worth it. Trust me. If you've got Episcaler, because we're not charging a lot for these boards. These are not expensive, and they plug into Appy's board, and they literally complete it. Oh, actually, I'm showing you this. This is not the S-Video board. This is the HDMI MES board. But it actually looks just like it, but with different ports. Sorry. Right. How we doing for time? Well, 45 minutes. Right, come on, any more questions? Because this, again... Now, there won't be a stream next week, because obviously I'm in China. I probably will do a post, an update, and that kind of thing. But there won't be an actual stream. I think that'll pretty much do it. I can't think of anything else. I'll really just put that there. Let me just switch back to here. There you go, so you can see the other monitors. This one here, this one, just so you're aware, that's why it says V2 prototype. It's actually the original prototype that I took around. I'm going to keep that one like that. I might fix the bottom, because it's not the new design. It's got the basics in it. You see, it's held in by a couple of cable ties. So I might make that a little bit neater actually, but the stand doesn't rotate or anything, and the button doesn't work, doesn't do anything. That was purely for taking to shows and showing people, so I'm going to keep that one. But as you can see, there's a few here, and look, there's another one. And here's a 17-inch one that's empty. Yeah, so yeah, we are approaching shipping time, so we're coming to the end of the process. So I'm looking forward to getting these off to you. Let's just make sure there's no more questions. Thank you for your work. China usually is really good. I hate leaving home, because I don't like leaving my wife and Alfie. I really, really don't. And I get quite emotional on the way, so I won't have them drop me off, because I can't deal with that. But once I'm there, I'm okay. Well, once I'm on the plane, it's fine. I mean, I talk to them twice a day and video conference and that kind of thing, so it's just not the same. So, but having said that, the trips, the last 2 times out there have been brilliant, because they're so nice, the Chinese out there. They obviously, because I'm a customer, I realise that, but just generally, I have a great time out there, and don't believe everything you read in the press. All right. But anyway, looking forward to updates. Do you know when you will have a new batch of garages? Any chance to have them with Kickstarter? No. The garages are. I've mentioned this before, but the garages were designed to sell with the monitor, right? They were designed for that, because if you've got like an all-in-one computer like 1200 or 500, Atari ST, or that sort of size computers, and then you can sit them over the top and it looks lovely. But they're just massive. They're just too bloody big and bulky and heavy to ship. So I've actually said, there's a company in Australia. I've said to him, if he wants to find a manufacturer, he's got the design. Do you want to make them? Make them. And I'm basically just going to probably do the same maybe in Germany for Michael to make them. Because to be blunt, they're a lot of hassle, and there's no money in them, okay? Because you don't make a lot of money out of them. It's just hardly worth it for the bulk and everything. And it makes no sense shipping them abroad. So you might as well get them made out there. So I don't know what's going to happen with the garages yet. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right. That's it. I'm going to go now. Let's have a quick look at this, because I do like the little Amiga, especially now those bars are gone. It looks beautiful, sounds amazing. Hopefully you can hear the boing. It just works really well, and I really do like it. I'm going to do a video on that as well. I'm going to do a video on the Apple once I got the new power supply. I've already answered that question about okay, yeah, May-ish. You can update your orders around May. Speak to you later. Thanks for joining in. So let me see if I press the button and then I go end. Bye.